Hey guys, it's Griffin here at Timbertrain Coffee Roasters, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about tasting coffee. One of the first questions I often get when people are getting into coffee is, how do you taste better? Maybe you pick up a new bag of coffee. For you, it tastes like fruity and floral, but then on the bag you see it tastes like Maillard lemons and jasmine tea. What's going on? First, I'd like to say that tasting is completely subjective. One flavor for you might taste completely different for someone else. So don't worry about if you're not nailing those notes on the bag or someone tastes something slightly different, because no one can tell you what you taste. But how do you get better at tasting? So firstly, I find a great way to start getting into tasting is to think, what does this remind me of? And a great tool for that is this. This is the SCA Flavour Tasting Wheel. This wheel was generated to help kind of break down the flavors into general sections and then help guide you into more specific tasting notes so you can learn flavors a little better. This is great because it begins in broad categories like fruity or floral and then goes into more specific ones. And these notes are all notes that are commonly found in coffee. So it doesn't have an endless amount of notes, but ones that are more specific to coffee. This is always great to have around you when tasting coffee. Maybe print it out or on your phone, because it generates good habits for tasting, starting with breaking flavors down into broad categories and then getting more specific with them. So for example, I'll take our fruity coffee from the start. If we look at the fruity category, now maybe I think it reminds me a bit more of citrus than berries. So we go into the citrus category, and within there it tastes a little bit more like lemon than orange. So there we go, we've generated a lemon note from a fruity note. And that's exactly how you use this wheel. Not every coffee is going to be super specific, but it helps you guide down that direction. So the next best way to expand your taste is to go out and taste things. We can only talk about tastes or flavors that we've actually tried before. We can't be reminded of something we've never tried. So go out to your store, get some fruits, get some chocolates that you maybe haven't tried, and taste them. You can also refer back to the SCA tasting wheel. That has a great selection of items to try if you haven't before, but maybe stay away from the poisonous and the dangerous things. But tasting new things is the essential part of growing your taste, because now you have a wider selection of things to recall upon. The final thing that I find incredibly helpful when tasting coffee is to talk about it or to write it down. When you get a new bag of coffee, ignore the flavor notes, don't look at those. Brew your coffee, taste it, write it down. Then you can go back and look at the tasting notes. And from there, you can compare, see what you got, maybe what you didn't get. You can go back to the coffee to taste it a little bit, see if you maybe missed a note that you now kind of see. But in the end, the flavors don't have to match. You don't know if the roastery is in a different city, maybe they're brewing it differently, and they have a different taste. So your tasting notes might not exactly match that of the roasters, and that's no problem. Hopefully you enjoyed these tips on how to expand your coffee tasting abilities or your coffee palate. It won't happen overnight, but if you keep at it, you'll definitely improve over time. And that just means you get to drink more coffee. So thank you for watching, guys. Have a great one.